Here's the episode commentary for 106, Imprisoned. And as I've said about some of the previous episodes, this episode introduces us to some seemingly minor characters, but we know that they'll appear in later episodes. For instance, Boomy in the last episode, Suki in the episode before that, and Haru and Tyro in this one. And we'll see them appear later on in the invasion and in the finale after the kind of victory ceremony. This episode focuses on Katara mainly, and how she helps give people hope. And the animation immediately straight into it with this episode. Gorgeous background shots there of the kind of rock, the little forest section that they're in there camping out. And then what Avatar always does well is when it opens up these seemingly kind of like less plot heavy episodes, it's always with just these kind of random like day-to-day things, like Sokka coming back after looking for some food, which if I may refer to the recent Dark Horse comic from Avatar, The Lost Adventures, that is sort of like linked in with like how some of these episodes end. Like it starts off as kind of like a lost adventure sort of thing. And then we see Sokka protective, but Katara just like sees someone like her age, an earthbender, and she just wants to introduce herself and kind of become friends. And as we kind of later find out in this episode, the reason he ran away is because the Fire Nation have sort of taken over the town that he lives in, and they don't. They take away all the Earthbenders, so they won't cause any trouble to the kind of Fire Nation rule over the town. And then we're introduced to Haru and his mother. And Katara still doesn't quite understand why he ran away yet. And then just a shot of them quickly closing the door and the window. Tells you everything you need to know about how dangerous earthbending is in this village. And then there's this thing, Sokka tells them all to act natural, and then the Fire Nation soldier walks in, and then the music along with them just coming completely still is just hilarious. Not natural at all, but like it's just great humor for the episode. And then what the Fire Nation soldier says there about fire being very hard to control, it'll later come up in the episode The Deserter, which is just an interesting thing about the philosophy of firebending, and that like he's probably not like an amazing firebender given like that we know Ozai, Zuko does become a great firebender, Azula, they're all great firebenders. And then we see that Haru is sort of kind of braver than a lot of the people here. He wants to kind of do something to help out his village, but mainly because of kind of what his mom keeps saying to him here about like he has to keep it hidden because of what happened to his father. He's kind of kept back, and then just how the injection of kind of Katara and her hope, upbeat, kind of helps them. She really wants to help them now after hearing about the thing with his father, especially given like that like her father had to leave to go fight in the war, and like her mother was killed because of the war. Then we're introduced here to the kind of friendship of Katara and Haru, kind of telling us that this episode is focused on Katara. And we see the the pride that Haru has for his father and what he did, and he kind of sort of aspires to do something like that himself. But because of the situation now, he's probably one of the last Earthbenders left. He can't. And then that line is just a great character moment. He only feels close to his father now that his father's been taken away by Earthbending. And then we get with the backstory on Katara's betrothal necklace, well, her mother's one. And they both kind of bond over the fact that they've kind of lost parents to this war. And then here's what happens here because of them saving this old man. Tells you everything you need to know about the war and how much the Fire Nation have affected things. And that like Haru has to earthbend here to save this man. And like this is not set up at all. Like seriously, like he's trapped under like some massive amount of earth. And as we find out later, the old man kind of snitches on Haru just to get some kind of like money, kind of get some respect from the Fire Nation soldiers, which like tells you just how seriously the Fire Nation has affected the war. In that people will snitch out like someone who saved his life just to kind of help his own situation. It brings out the worst in some people, the war. And then the music kind of tells a great story here of them coming to get Haru, and like just how kind of seriously they take an Earthbender. And then this kind of opening shot of the morning after Haru's been taken is just you get the feeling that like, Katara doesn't know yet. Her practicing her waterbending in the morning, she sees this look from Haru's mother, and she realizes what happened and how seriously kind of Katara takes this. She thinks it's her fault. But it was either let the guy die or earthbound, and they had to save him by earthbounding. And then Katara comes up with this. This is one of another Katara's character points, in that she is when she gets something into her mind, she has to do it. She's quite like kind of stubborn in that way. She comes up with this plan, which is just amazing. I'm completely confident that he can just do it. He just thinks this plan, which is seriously Katara being Sokka being very kind of practical there with what he says. And then this is amazing with the fake fight. Just the way the voice actors here, Jack Desena and Mae Whitman, kind of make it completely obvious to like us that they're acting. And then just the kind of Sokka take a bit of offense to what Katara jokingly said to him. earth-bending style. Just absolutely glorious. And then just the little shot of Momo behind the boulder. They think Momo's earthbending. And then just the thing, like, Sokka doesn't even need to act like when he says that. He just like, I'll hold her. Not subtle at all. And then just a little thing of Sokka kind of holding his ears to like, kind of judge the size after Katara's insult earlier. And here we see Katara taken away as an earthbender, showing us the kind of lens that the Fire Nation will go through to keep their rule in like this Earth Kingdom. Damn. And there's the coal mining rig, which pretty much tells us that the Fire Nation metal ships are powered by coal. And here we see the mining rig warden, voiced by George Takei or Takei. I really don't know how to pronounce his name. Sorry, but the voice is just glorious. He kind of revels in their kind of silence and kind of reverence to him. But like the guy coughs, interrupting his like grand speech, and you see the kind of ruthlessness of him. He's kind of how unreasonable he is, and we see the kind of stubbornness of Katara here, which as we see later with Hakoda in like the Boiling Rock when he comes off the gondola into the Boiling Rock, how stubborn he is with the warden there. And we see just kind of that it's passed on to Katara here. And it's kind of just interesting thing to note that at some stage the Sokka, Katara and Hakoda have all been in like a kind of Fire Nation prison. Just a like little connection thing. And here we're introduced to all the earthbenders who've been taken away, and there's so many of them. And they're the reunion of Haru and Katara. How guilty she feels about Haru being captured. And Haru kind of respects Katara for coming to help them. And here we introduce Tyro, voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson, who also voices the hippo and the lion turtle, as well as some other additional voices. I like the kind of powerful voice, yet kind of caring voice to Tyro that Kevin Michael Richardson does. It's just voice acting is like nearly perfect throughout the whole series of Avatar. And Katara thinks they all have a plan straight away. That's because she would always have a plan. She would never give up hope. And we see that they just kind of hope that they'll be released at some stage. They've sort of given up trying to escape. They just want to survive. But Katara really does not, she just can't accept this. We see once again the stubbornness of her. And like, a lot of the Katara-centric episodes kind of do focus on this aspect of her character. And I know some people may get kind of annoyed with that, but I really like the way she does this. As we see in like episodes like The Painted Lady. Some people don't like her trademarked speech of hope, But I think that's just like a kind of credit to her character. And then a credit to Mae Whitman again for the amazing kind of performance during this speech. That she's really inspirational. And she sort of gets a little bit through to them. And as she uses the avatar, it's brought her back hope, so it should bring back hope to these people. But we see that they just kind of don't have the strength to fight. Yes, they still don't have the strength to fight. Haru kind of wants to, but like his father has kind of given up, so he thinks he has to give up too. And here we see Sokka and Aang come to kind of take Katara back after kind of like, and she's like got aboard and now they're taking her back. But she realized that she has to do something. She has to save them all. Once again, she will not give up on hope. She has hope that these people can rise up and escape from this coal mining rig. And then we see that Aang agrees with her here that, like, as the Avatar, he feels like he has to help them somehow. And Sokka just kind of reluctantly agrees. And in this scene it's just like hilarious in that it has been like for the most part 100 years since anyone has seen a flying sky bison. And they think it's like flying buffalo, which I would actually like to know, is there actually like a flying buffalo in the Avatar universe? And it's just hilarious. It's sort of kind of like, you see that in a lot of shows, that like, oh, you threw the captain overboard, but it's just perfectly here given the like the kind of regal kind of voice acting from George Takei or Takai. And then the Aang's line there about the hurricane. We know in the Boomy fight he made a little tornado or cyclone. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, what is the limit of how big of a funnel of wind he can make? Like, the one he used against Boomy, I'd say, would wreak havoc on that ship. And this connection that Aang makes between earth and coal is something that will later come up with earth and metal in like the episode The Guru with Toph learning how to metal bend. It's just interesting that like these kind of connections, like everything is connected, come up in earlier episodes. And then Sokka shows his big strength as a warrior is in his intelligence. He can come up with a plan. He's quick thinking. The fact he used Katara's earlier plan on a larger scale here. Again, showing the the power of Aang's airbending in that, like, look at the amount of coal that he got up. And it's just the little details like that Aang covered in like soot, coughing. Again, Katara feels like that she tries another inspirational speech, but again, nothing happens. And then the kind of overconfidence of the warden, he thinks he has broken their spirit. And then just to kind of wince there from Haru, as the warden says, kind of their spirits have been broken a long time ago. Katara has most affected Haru. He turns and gets nailed in the back of the head by Haru. And then we see Tyro, the leader of this of the group, fight, and now they all realize that they can fight back. And here we see again contrast of styles, earthbending versus firebending. How earthbending has a lot more defense than firebender. Firebenders really cannot defend against these earth attacks, while the earthbenders can use the cold to defend against the fire attacks. We see father and son working together earthbending, probably for like one of the first times. And we just see how like that little detail of Haru standing up and then Tyro standing up, how much it has affected every earthbender. It has given them back their hope. And here's this epic line coming up. He says he can't swim. I hear a coward's float. It's just so like authoritative. You just kind of go, oh, that was epic. And here we see them escaping. They're off the rig on their way home. And then they thank her. The kind of honor of Tyro saying Katara of the Water Tribe to her. How much he has helped their lives. And probably I think the movie, again I'll reference the movie, does this thing quite well, in that how the Avatar and his group of friends affecting one village affects kind of all the villages around the Earth Kingdom. The kind of just that montage, and I think it's not kind of done as well in the show, in that like Taro says take back all of our villages, but we don't really see the results of that. Like we don't hear anything really. And then like this, how did Zuko picking up the trail of the Avatar and his friends by picking up Katara's necklace start the Zutara? I just cannot comprehend how anyone considers this the start of a relationship. Anyway, that has been 106, the episode commentary for Imprisoned. Next is 107, the first part of the kind of spirit world thing. The winter solstice, part 1, spirit world.